The silver gates of the Worthington estate glimmered under the afternoon sun. Beautiful, yes, but to many they were a cage. For the maids who worked within, each step echoed with the fear of being seen by Madame Evelyn Worthington, the millionaire's wife known for her charm in society, and cruelty behind closed doors. Today, that cruelty had a target. Do you call that clean? Evelyn's sharp voice sliced through the still air like a blade. Her eyes, cold and precise, landed on Amara, the newest maid, a young black woman who had just started 2 weeks ago. The other maids froze, their hands tightening around their brooms. Evelyn kicked the edge of a perfectly polished vase stand. You people are all the same, lazy, careless, and always making excuses. Amara's chest tightened. Her mother's voice whispered in her mind, "Never let them see you break." So she stood tall, swallowed her pride, and said softly, "I'll do it again, ma'am." But deep inside, something broke. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you re-watching from. I love knowing who Guy's listening. Every maid at the Worthington mansion knew the unspoken rule. Silence is survival. But Amara had never been good at silence. In the evenings, when she returned to her small room behind the kitchen, she wrote in a little notebook, words she couldn't say aloud. About dignity, about justice, about how a person's worth wasn't T, measured by the shine of a floor or the color of their skin. One night, as rain drummed on the roof, Evelyn's husband, Charles Worthington, came home early. He walked past the servants' quarters and paused, hearing something. Amara's voice reading softly from her notebook. Words so powerful, so filled with pain and pride, that he stopped in his tracks. He didn't say a word, but the next day, Evelyn noticed her husband seemed distant. Evelyn doubled down. She accused Amara of theft. She had her meals reduced. She made her scrub the marble floors on her knees until her skin burned raw. The other maids watched helplessly. They'd seen this before. Evelyn had driven out many before Amara, but Amara didn't leave. Not this time. Because Amara wasn't just working for herself. Her little brother Miles needed surgery back home. Every dollar mattered. Every insult was swallowed for him. But sometimes, fate chooses its own moment to strike. One morning, Evelyn was hosting her annual high society tea, a gathering of the city's elite women. Laughter and perfume filled the grand hall. The maids lined up silently against the wall, ready to serve. Then Evelyn decided to make a show of her power. She pointed at Amara. "You," she said, smiling sweetly, "tell everyone why you think you belong here among refined company." The laughter that followed was cruel. Amara froze, every gaze stabbing at her. But then, from the corner, Charles Worthington's voice echoed. "Maybe because she's the only one in this room who understands what refinement really means. Grace under cruelty." The room went silent. Evelyn's smile faltered. After that day, rumors began to swirl. The newspapers wrote about class tensions at the Worthington mansion. Charles quietly investigated, speaking to the staff, learning the truth about his wife's years of abuse. When the findings reached him, he didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He simply called a press conference. In front of cameras, he exposed everything, how his wife mistreated her employees, discriminated against black workers, and destroyed lives for sport. Evelyn's face turned ashen as the story broke across every major outlet. That night, she tried to confront Amara in the hallway, trembling with fury. "You'll regret this," she hissed. Amara looked at her, eyes calm, voice steady. "Maybe, but at least I'll be able to sleep tonight." In the weeks that followed, Evelyn's world collapsed. Her friends vanished. The charity boards removed her name. Meanwhile, Amara received letters from women across the country, maids, nurses, mothers, all thanking her for standing up when they couldn't. One day, a black car arrived at Amara's door. Charles stepped out holding an envelope. "My late father left funds for a foundation I never knew what to do with," he said. "I think I do now. It's in your name, the Amara Foundation, for dignity, education, and opportunity." Amara's hands trembled as she accepted it. Tears welled in her eyes, not from revenge, but from relief. Justice didn't always roar. Sometimes it whispered. Years later, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Amara stood before a crowd at the opening of the foundation's first community center. She looked out at the faces, brown, black, white, all shining with hope. She thought of that day in the mansion when she'd been humiliated, and how it had led to this moment. "Power," she said softly into the microphone, "isn't about who commands others. It's about who lifts them." The crowd erupted in applause, echoing into the night. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And somewhere beyond the gates of the old Worthington estate, the wind carried her words through the halls where cruelty once ruled, until all that remained was silence. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. Tell us in the comments, do you believe justice always finds its way? This is Whispered Words, where stories of courage and compassion come alive.